Okay, today we're going to talk about the trig form operation, specifically multiplication and division. So if I'm going to multiply together um, complex number 1 times complex number 2, these are the forms in trig form. So if I'm going to do multiplication, that's uh, complex number 1 times complex number 2. I'm going to take radius 1 times radius 2, and then in parentheses, cosine theta 1 plus theta 2 plus I sine theta 1 plus theta 2. Now, if I'm going to do division, for division, it's going to be the number divided by the other complex number. So it's radius 2 divided by radius 1, cosine theta 2 minus theta 1, plus I sine theta 2 minus theta 1. So those are your two formulas that you're going to be utilizing as you solve these problems. Okay, so for the first example, we're going to do a multiplication problem. So if I'm multiplying here, I'm going to multiply radius 1 times radius 2. So this is 10 times 12. Then I'm going to do the cosine 42 degrees plus 20 degrees plus I sine 42 degrees plus 20 degrees. Now for trig form, 10 times 12 is 120. This is cosine of 62 degrees plus I sine 62 degrees. And again, this would be trig form. Okay, if I'm wanting to put that into complex form, then I'm going to go ahead and multiply. So I do, and again, I've got to distribute this. So I do the cosine of 62 times 120, and that's going to give me 56.337 plus, and I'm going to do the sine of 62 times 120, and that's going to give me 105.954 I, and that's going to be complex form right there. So trig form, complex form. Okay, so for a division example, we're going to do the same Z1 and Z2, but we're going to do Z2 divided by Z1. So what we end up doing here is we're going to take 12, that's the radius of the second one, divided by 10, times cosine of 20 minus 42 plus I sine 20 degrees minus 42 degrees. Now if we simplify this, we get 6 over 5 cosine negative 22 degrees plus I sine negative 22 degrees. Now, if I'm going to go ahead and simplify this a little bit further, this becomes 6/5. Because the cosine of negative 22 is really the same, it's going to be positive in that fourth quadrant. So we can change this just simply to cosine of 22 degrees. And because the sine, we've got this negative, I'm just going to move it to the front. So it becomes I sine 22 degrees. So made that minus in between. So this would be our trig form. And then we know that the complex form, if I take cosine of 22 degrees times 6/5. That's going to give me 1.113. And then if I take my sine of 22 degrees, sine 22 times 6/5, that's going to give me 0.450, so minus 0.450i. And that's going to be my complex form. So notice the difference there between trig form and complex form for that one.